We have a story for you now of one family's love, devotion, and absolute determination to save their child. 4.5-year-old Jacob Trossman cannot speak, cannot eat, and sit up without help. Since they found out he suffers from a rare neurological disorder, his parents have searched tirelessly for a treatment, and now they are close to finding it. I'm joined in studio by Jacob's mother, Marcy White, to share the story. I thank you so much for coming in and talking about Jacob. Let's just first give people a sense of what PMD is, and I can't say the full name, but you probably can.
Yeah, PMD stands for Pelizaeus-Merzbacher disease, which is a mouthful, which is why it's easier to talk about it as PMD. And it's a very rare neurological disorder, which really, at least in Jacob's case, the way it shows itself is that he can't sit on his own, he can't walk, he can't talk. He's fed by a tube that was inserted into his stomach. He is given medications around the clock, and he struggles to do, everything that we take for granted, like just breathing and swallowing.
Mm-hmm. Does he respond though at all? Like, as his mom, when there are certain moments your child does something and you go, they know. Yeah. How does he show that?
He smiles and he laughs. He has a great sense of humor. In a lot of ways, he's got lots and lots of challenges, but in other ways, he's like a typical 4.5-year-old. He loves to hear, funny sounds, or if you're pushing him in his chair and you bang into a wall, or you just take a corner too fast, he cracks up. He finds that the most hysterical thing.
And he's beautiful. We can see pictures of him on the screen right now. You know what? I know you've got 2 other daughters, and I don't want to leave them out. You've brought a bag here with another picture of Jacob on one side.
This is Jacob on one side. And
can you hold it up? There we go. So that's Jacob on one side, and we can't leave out the girls, right?
These are Jacob's sisters.
And they're
Sierra
twins.
And Jamie. Yeah, they're 2 years old.
Excellent. Back to Jacob for a minute here. When he was born, what was it that led you to first go down the route of saying, what's wrong?
Well, the second he was born, we knew there was a problem. He had a breathing problem, and in the delivery room, everything up until then was perfectly normal. Mm-hmm. And, as a typical delivery would have, doctors and respiratory therapists in the room waiting for the baby, Jacob was born, and the one thing I remember so clearly is one of the respiratory therapists getting on the phone and saying, "I've never seen anything like this." And so, within seconds, we knew there was something that was wrong.
And what happened then?
Well, we heard, his breathing, it sounded very, very wrong. Mm-hmm. And every time he would take a breath, his chest would collapse inwards. And the doctors basically took him right from the table that they were examining him on and rushed him out of the room and started doing all different procedures on him. So when I finally did see him, about a half an hour later, he was intubated, he was on a ventilator, and he was in a little bassinet where I couldn't get to hold him.
Wow. And that is such a hard thing to do, because you go through that pain, that's what you want to do. Yeah. Where has the journey led you now? Because you are looking at a possible drug that you have hope in.
Where we are right now is we found a drug that we thought might help Jacob and other kids with PMD. And through donations that we raised through our friends and family, we were able to fund a study to test this particular drug, mm-hmm. and in animals who have PMD, and the results have been much, much better than anything we could have hoped for. The results are incredibly dramatic. The sick mice, once they're given the drug, barely look sick at all. You have to look very closely to tell the difference between a sick mouse and a healthy mouse. Mm-hmm. So what we're doing is we're hoping to gain awareness so we could, increase funding and continue with this research, but also gain awareness so that Canadian scientists and Canadian doctors can help us with the next step, mm-hmm. and get this drug that is an experimental drug into Jacob.
I have one final question for you, and it regards Andrea Bocelli. Our viewers might think I'm out in the ozone, but there is a link. Your son loves him.
Jacob loves music, but he has a reaction to Andrea Bocelli's music unlike anything you can ever see. And we had the fortunate experience of being able to go to Andrea Bocelli's rehearsal in Niagara in November. And we brought Jacob in. You know, he knew where he was, he knew the voice, and as soon as he started singing, Jacob's face just lit up. It was absolutely incredible.
I can hear the love in your voice and see it on your face. Marcy White, I wish you the best in this journey for you, for Jacob, and the twins. I thank you so much again for coming in.
Thank you very much, and people can follow the progress of the research on our blog at curepmd.com. curepmd.com. Yeah.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
And if you want more information, you can. We'll hold that up on the screen for you, www.curepmd.com. CBC News Morning. We'll be right back.